Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Chatting Pitch. As always, I am Leslie, one half of Chatting Pitch, and the other half is.
That's me, Matthew D. Smith. Thank you very much for rejoining us if you're a regular listener. If you're a new listener, we hope that you enjoy.
Amazing.
What are we going to talk about this week, Leslie? How have you been? It's been a while since I've talked to you.
Yeah, it's been
Driven
almost
past any good billboards lately?
It's been a whole week, and I've
Was
driven a lot.
that setup good enough?
Yeah, the setup was perfect. Before we started recording, I asked Matthew to remind me to mention about a billboard that I drove past yesterday.
No, don't say it. That setup was perfect until you pulled back the curtain and revealed the inner makings of Chatting Pitch.
You know what one of my favorite TV shows were back in the 90s? It was the revealing the magician's magic code with that guy with the mask.
Oh, with the creepy
Remember
mask.
that? Yeah. That's where I get my inspiration from. So that's why
In all that you do.
that's why I unveiled the smoke and mirrors. The reason why Matthew just spoke to me about billboards is because
I'm a huge fan of billboards. I just
love billboards. I love a good billboard.
Who doesn't love a good billboard?
And B, this billboard in particular, it kind of made me giggle as I was driving past because it wasn't just one billboard. It was two billboards mashed into one, because whoever put the next billboard up didn't take into account that the other side of the billboard was still present. So picture this: big widescreen billboard of a movie poster, but the left side of it was still the movie poster.
Okay.
And the right side of it was a
So
commercial.
was it a complete movie poster?
Behind it was a complete movie poster, but it just cut off the first side of the title of the movie.
Okay.
And then on the right side, it was advertising something else completely. So
also, it's like a Chatting Pitch mashup.
Almost, yeah. And that's why I thought I would explain what it was. So it was, the original poster was the new Bad Boys Ride or Die poster, right? And then I think like Martin Lawrence was on the left side, just like with his gun pointing towards the whatever. And then on the right hand side, it was a McDonald's advert for a brand new thing where it was about
it was Ride or Die Loving It.
No, it was an advert for their new fries. So it said Bad Boys Ride or Fries.
Yes.
And that gave me a good chuckle as I was driving past. And I was like, potential episode maybe?
Right. As soon as we get that sponsorship deal.
Because the way that it's been formatted on the McDonald's advert, it was called Surprise Fries, but the surprise was much smaller than the fries, so the fries was really big.
Yeah.
So technically, it's Ride or Surprise Fries.
Is that an option though? Is it someone giving you
Ride?
this option? I mean, Ride
or Surprise Fries?
Surprise Fries. I'll take the Surprise Fries.
I kind of like that it sort of rhymes, doesn't it?
It does. And I like that it's almost, they're the best ones where it's almost, that's intentional.
I have a feeling maybe whoever put that up knew what he was doing.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to put the rest up tomorrow because my time's up. Yeah.
But it looked like it was a complete poster though. It didn't look like it was cut off or anything. It just seemed like Ride or Surprise Fries. There wasn't no left side of the McDonald's poster.
Is Ride or Fries a movie that Martin Lawrence would be in?
I'm not sure. What if it was on the other side? It would be Surprise Fries or Die, right?
Right. Fries or Die?
Fries or Die.
Fries or Die.
Yeah, there we go. I think we've said enough about this poster. We're talking about something else completely different. Something that came out last weekend, I believe. We both caught up on it. And we'll tell you after the jingle. What have you been watching that I have also watched?
We have both been watching The Boys.
That's right. The Boys Season 4. How have you been finding it, mate?
I found it to be pretty good so far.
Yeah. I've heard quite a lot of discourse online. I don't know how much you spend on the website formerly known as Twitter, but a lot of people have been having mixed reactions to Season 4. and I don't know why. I think the main argument is that people saying that the new season isn't as good as the other seasons, which is their opinion. They could enjoy the first three more than they do the fourth one. There's another opinion that they said that it's becoming too political, which is ironic because the whole show has always been political.
Yeah. Part of it is also about the reaction of people who say that things are too political.
Yeah. So the people who are also upset about it, some people are arguing that the people who are upset are the people that the show are directly making fun of. So,
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's been out for a while in terms of the first three seasons. The new season's only been 3 episodes in at the moment, but there's definitely, not saying that you got to take sides, but there's definitely sides in the narrative.
Yeah.
And I think
I
the
mean,
people who are siding with the quote unquote, I guess, the right side,
yeah.
uh, seem to be the ones who are upset about the show.
Sorry, the ones that are siding with which side?
So, like, I guess Homelander's side.
Okay. So I don't know how you can watch The Boys and think that it's a debate. It's so
Yeah,
clearly not a debate. The show is clearly saying this is an awful person.
yeah,
And this person over here, and when I say that, I mean the character of Starlight, she's clearly the one in the right.
yeah.
I don't know why that would even be a debate.
I
This
just
isn't
think
me saying, "Oh, it's my opinion. I think out of the two." No, they're clearly. I wouldn't even say that they're mocking the people that support Homelander, because there's a bit in this third episode where
Oh, spoiler alert in case anyone hasn't seen it. Like, I guess we have to kind of.
okay, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, just in case. So
I
yeah,
mean, this would only be minor spoilers. So there's someone who would be who's definitely on the bad guy side, and she's sort of turning up at. You'll know this because you've seen all 3 episodes.
Mhm.
So it's the bit where they go to the convention, and there's I can't remember her name. She was in the actor who plays her was in
Oh, I know who you're
The
talking about.
Following. If you've ever seen that, it's a pretty fun show.
I think she was also in. If we're thinking of the same actress, is it the one who was also in a video game?
The one who's making up loads of just lies about
Yeah.
everyone.
Is it Firecracker?
Yes, firecracker. She's a real firecracker.
Oh mate, the Wagamama's Firecracker Rice.
Oh,
Boy,
perfect.
which has nothing to do with what we're talking
No,
about.
nothing to do.
Yeah. Which,
We're talking
incidentally, we have a conspiracy theory about Wagamama's.
It's very much like those pizza conspiracies.
Yeah. We could
Go to
go
the
into that
basement of
rabbit hole.
Wagamama's.
Yeah, maybe we
Oh.
shouldn't go down that road, but yeah.
No,
Anyway,
it's ridiculous. So there's
so-
a bit where she's talking about. I think it's almost like, why is it so easy? I'm probably remembering the scene wrong, but she's explaining how she's able to make money off these people who believe her conspiracies.
right.
And she's talking about them sort of being disillusioned, or people that don't have anything, and they're sort of at the edge of things in their life, and then they see this person who's saying stuff that, if the stuff that she's saying is true, that means that they've got a reason that their life is so bad and it's not their fault.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that's why these people believe the conspiracy, because if they don't believe the conspiracy, they have to deal with the truth that maybe that their life is messed up partly because of them.
Yeah.
Whereas this other story means that, oh, okay, it doesn't matter what I do because the conspiracy's always going to get me.
Right.
So I would say that the show has like a touch of sympathy for those people.
Yeah.
But at the same time, is showing them that they are going the wrong route.
Yeah.
And I think I would say that it's different. Season 4 is different because it's almost trying to be, without changing too much. And I'm not saying this because I love the first 3 seasons, but it's almost keeping the rude and crude stuff, but growing up at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the feeling I got from the first 3 episodes that they've dropped so far.
Yeah.
I don't know if you would agree with that or.
I think it's been a long time since I've watched, because I only really watched I binged watched the first two seasons, and then I watched season three when it came out, as and when. Um, but I'd almost forgotten a lot of what happened in the third season, and as I was watching it, I
Okay.
was kind of reminded by, oh yeah, like spoiler alert, some characters had died, but then they've been replaced by certain characters,
Right.
and it took me by surprise because I
Yeah.
thought, oh yeah, I forgot that happened.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like piecing the puzzles as I was watching it again, and I don't know. That's I think that's one of the issues that I have when a series doesn't come out regularly. Because when did season three come out? Was it last year or the year before?
I my guess would be last year. I mean, it has to have a big lead up because the production values are so good.
Well, it says here season three was 2022,
Okay, so 2 years ago.
so 2 years ago. So it had been a good 2 years since I
Yeah.
was invested in the story. So I'd forgotten quite a bit of it. That doesn't change the fact that I enjoyed the show. I felt like the tone was more or less the same. Um, there were a few things that kind of distracted me quite a lot, and I think maybe it was just due to production. But
I've told you, Leslie, you can turn off the person who's doing the sign language in front. That's not a character in the show. I keep telling you.
okay,
Leslie thinks everything's a crossover.
no, that was just my reflection.
It's
I
that
was
guy again. Oh, you. It's just you.
so how do I turn this guy off?
like a ghost or a wizard, just
Yeah,
hanging over everything.
all
And he's
hazy.
wearing my hat.
Yeah, there was one thing that really distracted me, and it was the voice of Homelander's son.
Okay.
Now, I think what had happened was
Oh, you watched the James L. Jones version
I
where
watched
he becomes
the
Brian.
I watched the
I'm gonna hit
uh
your head in the crowbar until you go away.
no, what happened was, in my opinion, I think what happened was the actor who played Homelander's son had grown up,
Hmm.
and he had clearly hit puberty, and his voice is cracked. And through the power of AI or something, his voice was very strange sounding to me.
Oh, do you think? Do you think
Did
there
you
was a
hear?
bit of? Do you think there was a bit of manipulation?
Did you not notice that at all when watching it?
Oh no, I just thought he was a bit squeaky because he's going through puberty.
No, there were times when, because I don't know, as a video editor slash audio
As a
designer or
man going through
whatever,
puberty himself, I
I couldn't help but realize how disingenuous his voice was. Um, no, there are certain filters that you can put onto voices to try and make them sound like a different voice. And
okay.
what I believe has happened was they've taken all the
I've heard about
recordings.
those.
They've taken all the recordings of it was this character's name, Ryan, was it?
Yeah, Ryan.
Yeah. Ryan's voice when before he hit puberty, and fed it through this algorithm. So when he recorded his lines with his
Oh
lower voice,
no.
they put it through a filter. And
Are
then
you saying that they
sometimes
actually did that?
I I'm not saying they actually did it. I'm just hypothesizing that
Okay.
maybe that's what they did. But I don't know. For me, it was kind of distracting because that was the only thing that I can think of. You know how when they say, "Oh, when they deep fake somebody in a show or de-age somebody,"
Hmm.
you're no longer invested in the story. You're just looking at the
Yeah, yeah.
technology,
Like how
and that's
people were watching The Irishman, and it was
yeah.
like just distracting
Oh,
because it's
look how
it's young De Niro, but
yeah, but
not
the
quite.
old De Niro body, but young De Niro
Yes.
face.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyway, that was just my observation. I think other things were different as well. It was like Mother's Milk had lost a considerable amount of weight, and I thought he was recast. I was like, who is this man?
Oh, really?
And he had shaved as well, so
Yeah, yeah.
he didn't have the full beard. It was just the mustache.
Right.
And I literally thought it was a different person
Oh,
until I
really?
looked up and I thought, oh, okay, oh maybe he's a different, maybe
Okay.
it's the same actor. But
Yeah.
I looked it up and like he had gone through, I don't know, some sort of weight loss journey.
Well, it's the stress of the
Um,
job, mate, because he's in charge of the boys now, isn't he?
that's right. That's right. I like how the Deep's
Hmm.
character just has his own storyline that doesn't really matter, like in
No,
many ways.
it's never had
It's
any
like a C,
bearing on the
it's like
main
a
story, has
B
it?
side character. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but he's just
Mm,
sort of hanging round somehow. How
Yeah.
has he managed to, when you think about all the stuff that he's done,
Yeah.
like in it's almost the first or second episode of the very
Yeah.
first season where he's like just propositioning someone, and it just
Yeah.
gets
Yeah. Yeah.
worse and worse from there.
I love that storyline of him trying to say, was it a whale or a dolphin or something that he's trying to
Yes.
save? Yeah. That was
Yeah.
great. I was like, why is this? Has no
Yeah.
stakes at all. It's just like
Yeah.
his own piece, like side quest kind of thing.
But I like that because it really informs his character. Because really, if he went the whole hog, and there is again minor spoiler for season 3, the octopus that he's in a relationship with is still around.
Yeah.
And he's hiding her in his cupboard behind all his clothes.
Yes. Yes.
And at one point she says, like, why don't we just go and live on that reef together? Like where all my family live there as well. We can stay with them. And it's almost like he's in a way as disconnected from humanity as Homelander is.
Yeah.
Because he could conceivably, if he just went the whole hog, he
Yeah.
could just take the octopus
Yeah.
and just go to that reef and just live there forever.
A little bit of trivia about the octopus. Do you know who that octopus is voiced by? Very
Can't say anyone comes to mind. Go on.
very, very famous British actress that we mentioned last week.
Last week.
Hmm.
Oh, go on, mate. Remind me. Who is it?
Okay. Her face is the same like map of if you look down.
It's not Tilda Swinton, is it?
It's Tilda Swinton. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
She voices the octopus.
She voices Ambrosius. Is it Ambrosius, the octopus? Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I didn't find that out until later. Like sometimes when you
Okay.
go on, when you're watching it on Prime, there's like the X-ray mode where it shows you who's
Inside
playing
of
who.
all their bodies.
Inside of the body. Yeah, you can watch the whole thing in X-ray mode where it's just skeletons.
It's like just playing. It's like playing Arkham Asylum, really.
Or Mortal Kombat, you know, when they do the fatalities and you see their bones break. And then I looked up and I was like, oh, that was voiced by Tilda Swinton.
I would never have guessed.
You can Google that. It's 100% true.
And
I
also,
wouldn't have guessed either.
People that you wouldn't have guessed would be a fan of the show either.
Okay, so I guess that's the review portion of the episode.
It's pretty good. What should we give it in our rating system? Our new official rating system.
I would say it's a chatting pit C without the H.
Oh, you like a chatting Pitka? You say you really like it then?
The only issue is, I mean, like, it's not like I really, really like it. Like, I think it's great, but it's not over yet, is it? It's only the first 3 episodes.
Okay. What would you give the whole thing from season 1 to now?
From season 1 to now, I'd say it's a pretty solid chatting pitch. What do you think?
I would give it a chatting
pit.
There were times in the first season where I thought, "Am I enjoying this?"
Oh, I've enjoyed it throughout, like thoroughly throughout. I don't think there's ever been I've even quite enjoyed the spin-off series Gen V. Have you seen that?
Okay, no, I have not.
That's quite good. It's quite good. It's in tone basically the same, just different characters and different setting.
Or is it like them at school or something?
They're at a university and
but it's them all young, like Homeland.
It's basically young Avengers. Like, it's X-Men. It's X-Men basically.
So it's like X-Men mixed with Recess, is what you said.
Yeah.
I think Billy Butcher would be the main character from Recess there, the kid with the backwards cap. Yeah.
I wish I could quote his stuff, but it's a bit too colourful for this podcast. So,
well, the kid with the backwards hat, yeah.
The kid with That's
why it got cancelled, didn't it?
Do you remember the theme song?
All I've got is a Madness song in my head. It's similar to that, isn't it?
Baggy trousers. Yeah. That's it.
But that's the theme song from The Boys, isn't it?
Would you say that Recess is technically a sitcom? Or would you say it's more of just a cartoon?
I think it's a cartoon. It's a cartoon show.
What would you cast as a sitcom then? What would you consider a sitcom?
Well, the phrase is situation comedy, so I guess it's something that could be summed up. So I guess Recess fits the bill for that, because you could set up Recess in 1 or 2 sentences.
Well, you know what? If that's what you think, then that's a perfect segue to the next section. Cue the jingle.
No, I want to talk about this a little bit. And that's why Johnny Bravo is the greatest sitcom.
When we were talking about what episode this was going to be. We decided that we were going to talk about The Boys, season 4. But then Matthew, he suggested his idea. What's the idea, Matthew? There's something in my eye, by the way.
When you were saying that, you looked so bored. You were like, Matthew suggested an idea. What is your idea, Matthew?
It wasn't that.
And I come in all
just...
eager. Oh, thank you, Mr. Leslie. thank you for giving me this shot. Do you think I'll get paid this week, Mr. Leslie? No. I'll give you my eye drops.
Do you have any?
That's
I'd love some eye drops right
everyone's impression of Lorne Michaels, where he just gets really bored.
Yeah.
I was talking to.
That's more visual. That's a visual gag, isn't it?
Yeah.
All I know is anyone who ever does a Lorne Michaels impression is always like, "Oh yes, it's not very good, is it?" I think
he does sound like that, doesn't he? Well, I've heard him on a guest spot on The Simpsons. And it's like, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
I had no idea who he was as a kid, obviously.
Well, who was in The Simpsons?
He's in the Max Power episode.
Oh, okay.
Only for one line. But of course, as an 8-year-old English kid, I had no idea who Lorne Michaels was.
I know 2 things from that episode. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. And the song that he sings about Max Power.
Yes, yeah.
But you mustn't touch!
Oh, yes, Mr. Power.
I liked that episode. It was very silly.
So stupid. It's very silly. Like the bit where he kills, where he gets trapped with the environmentalists trying to save the trees.
Yeah.
And he manages to knock down all the trees and kill a bald eagle with that chain.
That was good. Very good. Anyway, moving on.
Let's go on
we talk about. Yeah, tell me your idea.
Matthew's boring idea.
Brilliant idea.
I thought, well, let's not do a crossover because we've done a couple of crossovers so far in season 2 of
the best podcast in the world,
with all 7 of our fans. And I thought we could.
Your mum, your dad, my dad, and 3 others.
You know what? Some of my relatives will, repost my things that I will like a review or like a chatting pitch episode. Yeah. And I know for a fact that they have not read that thing. It's very nice of them. It's very nice of them to do that. But I know my mum hasn't read my review of The Boys because she wouldn't like that.
I'm really excited to hear your boring idea.
Yeah, you keep rubbing your eye. You got hay fever.
I think I may have hay fever, and that's probably what it is. The sun's been coming out tomorrow. So
tomorrow.
Tell me your idea before I fall asleep.
You need some Vaseline on your nose. That's my idea.
Some Vaseline in my eyeballs.
Any listeners who've got hay fever, just cover your face in Vaseline.
No.
Make yourself pure Vaseline.
I don't understand. It's not even that hot. I don't get it.
Mate, hay fever's not to do with heat.
Oh.
It's to do with hay. Got to move off that farm that you're living on.
And fevers. And I've got Saturday night fever.
That's actually quite bad. I don't know if you've read the news lately.
I thought you were going to be like, that's actually quite a bad joke. Like, cheers, mate.
Anyway, should we reveal the idea that people have
we've been hyping up for the past 10 minutes?
And people have figured it out 10 minutes ago. I figured why not do The Boys, but as a 90s sitcom?
Oh, I would have never thought. So why do you want to do this? Is it because...
I think because we both grew up in the 90s, so we're both going to know it.
That is true.
And I figured it's going to change the tone quite a lot because there's no way that The Boys... It's almost like a reverse. You couldn't make that today. It's actually the reverse of you couldn't make that yesterday because it's excessively violent, naughty, and there's swears.
Yeah.
There's a certain word, I can't say it on here, but I love the way that... who's the guy who plays Billy Butcher?
Oh, Carl Urban.
Carl Urban Sometimes he does slip out of the Cockney accent, but sometimes there's a particular word. Some would say it's the worst swear word in the
It's
world.
the rudest word.
The
known
rudest
to
word
man.
in the world. But
Yeah.
he just, whenever he says that word, he just nails it. It's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Sometimes he goes back. Is he New Zealand or Aussie?
I think he's a New Zealander, yeah.
New Zealand, yeah. Sometimes he reverts back into New Zealand
Yeah.
accent, but or he either does that or he kind of over exaggerates the Cockney to the point
Yes.
where it almost sounds a bit
Yeah.
too much. Yeah,
It's almost like, I know it's a comic book, but you're not a cartoon character.
yeah. I forgot to eat my cornflakes today. I ran out of milk.
My acting lessons composed of me watching bad impressions of Michael Caine.
Not a lot of people do that. Yeah.
We're behind the scenes with the boys.
Carl, how did you get that great impression? Oh,
thank you for asking.
thank you for asking.
Let me take you through my process.
Yeah. Was Michael Caine in any sitcoms? Because that would be a perfect recasting.
No, I think he was just a movie guy, wasn't he?
He was just a movie guy. He must have done some TV, but
I don't know.
Anyway, you have decided that you were going to do sitcoms, right? And
yes, and we've done this
wanted
in
to
two
do
different ways, haven't we?
Yeah, I wanted to do sitcoms too, but we didn't want to clash and have the same people, even though there are probably over 1 million sitcoms out there. We just didn't want to run the risk of having the same characters. So what we're going to do is Matthew is going to do US sitcoms, and I, myself, am going to do UK sitcoms.
Now,
Bada bing, bada boom.
are we doing it as in this is going to be a good show, or are we doing it as in this is who the executives would have cast?
Just freestyle, baby.
They're hot, baby.
I
We
mean,
have to imagine that all of these people have done their big sitcoms as well, so they're all big.
Well, 90s is a broad spectrum, you know? It goes from 1990...
Almost 10 years.
Almost a whole 10 years. So...
Some would say the 90s was the longest decade ever.
Yeah, how do we do this? So I guess we can go through... well, I've got IMDb up, and I've got every character that is top billed.
Okay.
Ranging from Billy Butcher to Homelander to the rest. So I guess what we can do is just
imagine
do the
that
main...
meaning a superhero. I'm the rest.
The rest.
Oh, where'd everyone go?
You know what? When I was a kid and there was that episode of The Simpsons, I had to have this joke explained to me because I didn't get it at the time. But there was an episode of The Simpsons where they were doing Mark Hamill was doing a musical of Guys and Dolls, but it was he was just singing
Luke
Guys and Dolls.
Tonight.
Yeah, Luke and then he goes there, and he's got this one line where it's like, you got so and so and so and so, and then he goes, and all the other puppets, let's be a gelatin. And I didn't get what that meant. And then he said, well, a friend of mine said to me, oh, he's insinuating that no one else is real. They're puppets like Yoda. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Until this day, I don't know if it was a funny joke or clever joke or...
Okay.
Yeah. Did you find that funny at the time?
Because as a child and going into your teens, I remember you always thought that Yoda was a real guy.
Yeah. My dad thought Yoda was a real guy.
Until I came along. This is a twist for you, Leslie. I was that friend, and I told you that Yoda was a puppet. And ever since then, listeners, we've been fast friends. Right.
Can I tell you a funny story about my dad again?
Go on.
Yeah, so once we were at a dinner party, and there was somebody's husband across the side of the table. Right. And then he said to me, oh, he really reminds me of someone from that movie Star Wars. I was like, oh, is it Luke? I was like, no, not Luke. The smaller one. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, was he an actor? I was like, no, he was small and green. I'm like, you're talking about Yoda? I was like, yes, that's it. That guy looks exactly like Yoda. And he gets a picture out of Yoda.
And he looks across. It was like a tall, slim man with dark hair. Very young. And...
Looked nothing like Yoda.
But he kept doing flips. So
yeah, he kept doing flips, and he kept talking backwards. Anyway, moving on. So who's going to be your Billy Butcher in US sitcom?
Now, I think we've talked about the not nice word that Billy Butcher always calls someone.
Uh-huh.
Now, I think we class the joint up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe change some of the insults. Maybe make him a bit more witty.
Okay.
And I think we go full-fledged, 100% power, Kelsey Grammer.
Oh, cool. From Frasier.
From Frasier.
From Frasier.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome to Frasier. Previously on Frasier.
So, why have you chosen Frasier?
Because, just because of that big change. You adapt a product, you adapt a story, but you change it completely. Maybe there's a focus group.
Yeah.
I really like that smart guy on Frasier. Okay, let's get Kelsey Grammer in because all the focus groups are saying that they like Kelsey Grammer right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like with his beard and with his hair, who's the guy who plays Billy Butcher again? He keeps slipping my mind.
Carl Urban.
Carl Urban. I feel like with his beard and with his hair the way it is, he's got quite a big head. And I think, just on its own, Kelsey Grammer's got a big head. So I feel like there's my reason for casting. Class the place up a bit, and new hats don't have to be made by costume.
Interesting. So you've gone for the route as like, oh, let's do complete binary opposite of.
But I do think Kelsey Grammer could do the tough stuff if he was allowed to.
Okay. Can
but
we
the
do?
Rest of the time, he could just be Fraser.
How about this? So if you go, so Carl Urban, he's like the Cockney guy, Cockney gangster type dude. You've gone completely opposite. He's Frasier, Kelsey Grammer. He's like smart and got a big head.
Yeah.
Those are the parallels.
Yeah. But apart from that, he's maybe classy. He's like a classy socialite.
Yeah. I'm gonna go the complete opposite side of the spectrum.
Go on.
Okay. And I'm gonna say Mr. Bean.
You're going Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson, yeah, because he's got a big head. He's quite physical, you know.
Yeah, and he's done action before, like watching him drive that car while he was sat on the sofa on top.
Yeah,
shows that he can do his own
and
stuff.
If you put Billy Butcher and Mr. Bean side by side, it's almost like my dad. No. And that's why I mentioned about the comparison that my dad made of that guy who looked like Yoda, who looked nothing like Yoda. So by that logic, this guy looks like Mr.
Bean. Okay. So does he talk, or is he Rowan Atkinson, or is he Mr. Bean?
He's Mr. Bean. He's Mr. Bean, but he does all the lines in Mr. Bean's voice.
Okay.
I can't do them because it's too colourful. Yeah.
Don't be a
I got to cut that out now. Well,
just have that fly. Just have that fly come.
Today. No. How does he sound? How does Mr. Bean sound again?
Mr.
It's like
Bean.
Bro, I can't do Mr. Bean. Teddy. Teddy, don't be a. I sit on the corner. And I look at the painting. That's almost Sean Connery there. I shit in the corner.
The corner.
This is all getting cut.
Some listeners may know. Some listeners may know that I teach kids at school, junior school, and I had the crowning moment of my teaching career, Leslie, and I have to tell you, and this is why. So we were doing it. They were doing a task, and some of the children were not so focused. So I said to them, the ones that if you finish your work, we're going to go out for a movement break. So basically an extra break time.
Okay.
And you all get to run around and socialize and whatever. And what I meant to say was, those of you who don't get your work done will bring a whiteboard out and you will sit. But I didn't say sit.
You said the other S word.
I said the other S word.
Yeah.
And they loved it.
Oh, great.
Did
you laugh or did you?
Oh yeah. You have to laugh it off. There's no other way. Yeah, I laughed it off and then apologized, and have received 8,000 complaints.
And my job is on the line now.
What I really love, what makes it the crowning achievement, is that it almost makes me sound like the punishment is, okay, you're gonna have to take a whiteboard outside, and your punishment is you're gonna just do a dump on this
Yeah,
whiteboard. So it's
yeah,
almost like you're not gonna fake this punishment either. You're not just gonna run outside and come back in 5 minutes later and pretend that you did a poo. You're
yeah.
gonna come in with that whiteboard and you're gonna
There's a poo on that whiteboard.
you're gonna show me you're working out.
What if the whole class was punished? Do they all have
Oh
separate
well, then
whiteboards? They all share the same whiteboard?
they'd all just be
Lined
in
up.
their own lane on a running track.
That's horrendous.
Next up,
What an
come on,
awful,
come on, quickly.
like, just the image alone of all these kids sharing the same whiteboard, lining up.
As soon as I said it, I
Yeah,
just knew there's no way. Sometimes you slip up,
yeah,
or sometimes you slip up, but you're quick enough that no one realizes.
right.
You might get like one or two kids in the back going like, "Did he just say that word?" But then you can cover it up, or that they're young enough that they don't realize.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But this was a bunch of 11-year-olds
Mm-hmm.
who talk about way worse things than that. I mean, parents, anyone who's a parent listening, you should realize like your kids know stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I definitely knew quite a bit when I was 11. So,
But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd share my crowning achievement as a teacher. Really,
well, thank you.
telling a room full of children that if they didn't get their work done, they'd have to go outside and defecate.
We've gone from talking about Mr. Bean to kids.
Anyway, yeah, who's your
whiteboards.
Jack Quaid going to be?
My Huey Campbell. Okay. Here's the thing. I didn't think this through. So all I have is a bunch of 90s sitcom posters.
Okay.
And I am trying to see who I think could work. Do you have one already? Because
I do. I have a reuniting.
Okay.
See if you can guess who this is.
So Frasier.
It's a reuniting with Kelsey Grammer.
Okay. Is it by any chance?
Go on.
Is it by any chance any of the X-Men?
No, it's not any of them.
Do you remember when Frasier was an X-Man?
He was a hairy X-Man.
Yeah, he's back now. Did you hear? He's back as the same X-Men.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it'd be well confusing if they just recast him.
They did recast him for a bit.
No, did you ever watch as a different character?
Oh, okay. And it's Frasier. He walks through a portal. Yeah.
Oh, Magneto.
Okay. I mean, like the only other person I can think of is his co-star in Frasier, the one who plays Sideshow Cecil in
in the greatest crossover of all time. No, It's not him. I went with young Woody Harrelson.
Oh, of course. Frasier's a spin-off of Cheers, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, and I forget the Woody Harrelson. Could have gone with Ron Howard. Could have gone with. Oh no, wait. Ron Howard, was he in Cheers?
Ron Howard was not in Cheers. He was Happy Days.
Yeah, he was Happy Days. Oh no.
But that might be an interesting choice.
that might be even better. Howard. Oh, you know what? I got those two confused. I think
maybe Woody Harrelson, but Ron Howard does the voiceover for his thoughts.
Or you can save Ron Howard for some
Arrested Development style.
Homelander is Ron Howard. Whatever that's going to be like.
No, Homelander is the Fonz. Every time he walks in, hey, and lasers someone through the eye.
Have you written anything down for Homelander?
I do, but I want to hear your Huey Campbell in the news.
Well, here's the problem. I don't think I've watched nearly enough 90s sitcoms to really know my way around it. There's only been a handful, and even if I did just plucked one out, I wouldn't even know what the character would be anyway. That's why I went with Mr. Bean, because I know Mr. Bean.
Can we move on to Homelander then? Have you got a Homelander?
I don't have any of these, mate.
We talked
about this idea seconds before recording, and now I'm scrambling to find the
Okay, I'll talk you through what I've got then.
Okay.
So I feel like hearing behind the scenes stories about this guy, and also some of the other characters he's played since the massive, possibly the biggest 90s sitcom in the world.
Mhm.
I would go with David Schwimmer
Oh, as Homelander.
as Homelander. Yeah, slick
Oh, that's
back that
cool.
hair,
Mhm, mhm.
stick him in the costume. He's already quite a tall guy, isn't he?
Give him a glass of milk.
Work out a little bit.
Yep. That's good. That's good. Oh, I've found a definitive 90s British sitcom list. So I'm going through them, and there's a few that I'd forgotten existed actually. So, but no, David Schwimmer. Let's go back to that. I like the idea of it.
I think he could be imposing if he wanted to be.
Yeah,
Obviously, he wasn't as Ross.
I
He's
mean,
not
you
going to go
think
around
about
beating
Ross
people
as a
up.
character from Friends. He basically was a psychopath, wasn't
He was.
he?
If you watch Friends without the laugh track, you realize
Yeah.
how awful a person Ross was. I mean, there's a lot of stuff where people say, maybe it hasn't aged too well.
Hmm.
There's a lot of jokes about like people being gay, and it's
Yeah.
like nowadays that wouldn't really be funny.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean,
but
90s was all
that's
about like gay panic was the thing, wasn't it? 90s and throughout to the early 2000s, it was trendy to make fun of them
yeah. I wouldn't even say it's a panic, just more like let's just take the Mickey out of Chandler Bing because he's
because he wears a
like
vest.
sometimes he's slightly effeminate,
Yeah.
or but I think that I've lost my train of thought. I lost my A train of thought. Who would you have for A train?
I'm telling you, mate, I don't have them
You
right
don't
now.
have anyone. Leslie
Give me
is
some time.
pretending to listen to me
No,
while
I
trying to
am not
do his
pretending.
list.
I'm definitely listening to you.
I am not pretending to listen to you. I am putting no effort into that charade.
I'm just on my phone playing Candy Crush. No, who's your A train then? Let's hear.
I went with because I thought he is quite big, and he became an action star in his own right in the 90s.
Hmm.
Do you know who I'm possibly
An
talking about?
action star slash sitcom.
Started off in a sitcom.
Was he in Was he? Did he start off in a sitcom in the 90s or the 80s?
It was in the 90s.
It was in the 90s. Okay, so it's not Bruce Willis.
No,
No, Bruce Willis is A train. That'd be great.
Bruce Bruce Willis is my starlight. Same outfit.
Is he actually?
No.
What? Okay, your A train. Okay. Is it none other than the other bad boy?
That's right, Brad
Yeah.
Garrett from Everybody Loves Raymond. No, I think Will Smith would be
Will
able
Smith.
to. I think Will Smith is probably the only one on my list where it's the character wouldn't have to change that much.
Yeah. And what's
I,
great about this recasting is it's Will Smith in the 90s. Because if you
yes,
cast Will Smith today, that's a very different story.
yes.
Yeah. But let's not get into that. Like, it's a bit too political there.
Is it
So
political? Like he slapped a guy.
I don't know. What does politics even mean these days?
Man, slapping—that's such a right-wing thing to do.
He did use his right hand, didn't he?
If I was a left-wing person, I'd have just kicked him in the shins.
Let's hear the rest of yours. Who's Mother's Milk?
I don't have anyone for Mother's Milk yet.
Okay. Have you got anyone for the Deep?
I do. I think you might like this one.
Okay.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah. Okay,
Formerly
sure.
Taxi, which is a little bit further back than 90s,
Yeah.
but that's fine.
Because Taxi was in the 80s, wasn't it?
70s, I think.
70s.
Yeah.
So we're breaking all the rules here. Okay, well, I'm going to cast someone from the 50s. All good, all good. Why Andy Kaufman?
I think the character is already quite peculiar anyway, with his
Mhm.
predilections. But then I think if you give Andy Kaufman a bit of free reign behind the scenes,
Yeah.
because also we were talking about it, weren't we? That the deep story doesn't really have anything to do with the
No,
main
that's
plot,
right.
so it could go any way,
You know, I
or
almost feel
almost
like
any way,
maybe
but not
my
affected.
Deep should have been Mr. Bean.
Oh,
Because he's doing all the slapstick stuff,
I'm
you
just
know?
thinking of the slapstick stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I don't really know where I'm going with any of it. But do you have a
He
Frenchie?
sexually assaulted me. What, you mean that's slapstick stuff that he did?
Have you got a Frenchie?
I was really thinking long and hard, and by that I mean for 10 seconds about Frenchie. I
Okay.
don't know who I could go for. I've got a
I think I know. I know
go
a
on.
great movie star you
Go
could
on,
go
give me
for.
Frenchie.
Uh, well, is none other than the most famous Hollywood French actor in the 90s, Jean Reno.
Who Frenchie happens to mention.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, but he's not a 90s sitcom. We're breaking all the rules around here.
We're breaking our own rules.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's not be pinned in, mate.
yeah.
How about this for? Do you remember Stan Edgar?
No, I don't know Stan Edgar. Who's that?
He in the story of the boys, he runs Vought International.
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I thought, man, I've got to give that part to Alan Alda.
Alan Alda. Now I need to put a face to the name. Or how do you spell Olga? Alda.
Yeah.
Is it ALDA?
ALDA.
Oh yeah. What was he in? Was he in MASH?
He was in MASH.
Okay.
He had a bit of a supporting role for a bit in 30 Rock.
Okay.
He was very
I
funny.
I don't think I know him that well.
Oh, I thought you knew him.
I had well, now that I see the face, I kind of recognized he was in MASH, which I never really watched. I knew the theme song, and I never
MASH!
really watched. Uh,
Oh,
I never really watched 30 Rock either.
they're in the Vietnam War. Wait, it's not Vietnam, is it? It's North Korean. That
Yeah,
wouldn't fit. We'd have
I
to
wouldn't
change the
fit at
whole
all.
premise.
Uh,
Sorry, we can't do this touching sitcom about the war in Korea because it doesn't fit the theme song. So we'll have to change it.
did you have a Starlight?
I really struggle with Starlight. Have you got a Starlight?
Um,
Help me out here. Let's have a crossover of our casts.
okay. Let's have a crossover of our crossovers. So you want 90s? I mean, if you want to, you might as well just get Jennifer Aniston, right?
Yeah?
Because like she was one of the most famous 90s lead actresses. She has similar looking hair, or I guess you could go for Lisa Kudrow as well. she's got the long blonde hair. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws here, mate. I haven't really put that much thought. But you know what I could do with my British one?
Go on.
I could easily recast almost the entire cast with another entire cast
Go
of
on.
a British sitcom.
Right.
Did you ever watch Red Dwarf?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, all four of them.
As Starlight.
Yeah, they're like conjoined like a big Power Rangers
Yeah.
suit.
And they still think that they're in Red Dwarf.
Yeah. I mean, it could work. It could work. I think the cat character. Remember the cat? He's like, "Hey, I'm the cat." You know that guy? I forget.
Hey,
I forget.
I'm Starlight. What do you want from me, Andy Kaufman?
Well, I thought he'd be a good the Deep, you know.
Okay.
Or yeah, and then I guess the main guy, Craig Charles, he could be a
He could
Huey.
be a Huey, yeah.
He could be a Huey.
Hmm.
Rimmer, the hologram guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess he could be
I think you
Frenchie
could. I think you
or
could
Mother's
keep.
Milk.
I think you could keep that character name and then just introduce a new character to the boys.
Oh
Our
man,
seventh member of the seven. Welcome, River.
and then we have the other one who was the robot, Crichton.
Yes.
I guess he could be. Who could he be? He could be Homelander. Robot Homelander.
Robot Homelander.
There you go.
Isn't it in the original comic books that the Homelander is cloned?
Yeah, he is it Black Noir?
Black Noir.
He's the clone, but they've completely rewritten that in the series, haven't they? Yeah.
To their betterment, I think.
Well, I think we've done a cracking job with this.
Oh,
recast.
we've done a sterling job.
I can't wait to see the thumbnail for this one. But yeah,
listeners, can you tell we're both busy?
Can you tell we have? We have a busy schedule.
We have other lives. Leslie's busy editing videos. I'm busy telling children to go and do things outside that they should be doing
on whiteboards.
on whiteboards.
Which reminds me, I need to order a whole set of new whiteboards for tomorrow. Okay, well, I guess that's it. Tune in next week when we make a half-assed attempt at doing another episode of Chatting Pitch.
Tune in next week when we actually put in effort.
I'll tell you what, though. I think this could be a nice end to season 2.
Oh no, that is the ending, isn't it?
Well, it's an arbitrary ending.
It's an arbitrary ending. We did 12 last time, and then we had our massive 3-year. Oh, so I guess we're not going to be back in. See you in 2027.
See you in 3 years.
Whenever the next thing that happens after, what's gonna happen? I mean, before it was the pandemic, wasn't it? So what is? Yeah. I mean, there's some bad stuff going on in there.
I think within the next 3 years.
I mean, we got the
AI will have taken over.
AI.
Yeah. AI would have taken over. Aliens would have come and invaded our planet.
Mm-hmm. Come in third in the general election.
There's a Bad Boys 5 come out at some point.
5 alive. 5 alive, but Martin Lawrence has passed away.
Yeah.
So they've
and this time it's in conjunction with the new McDonald's Cajun fries.
McDonald's.
The end. Chatting Pitch has been brought to you by Leslie Way and Matthew D. Smith. If you enjoyed this episode, feel free to listen to others and maybe even subscribe. You can follow us on the website, formerly known as Twitter.
Listen to us on Spotify or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Leslie and Matthew have their own side hustles as well. Feel free to check out Leslie's YouTube channel or Matthew's Medium blog. Links in the description. If you want anything else, we might have other links in the description if we think of anything interesting to add. Thank you for listening. I love you.